Hi friends, today we're going to replace the springs in the forks with the new correct spring rated forks for my weight. Okay, you have to take off the wheel obviously, and then there's two bolts here, the brake caliper there. Okay, so before we loosen the pinch bolts on the fork in the triple clamp, we're going to loosen this one because it's much easier to loosen it now when it's clamped in than it is to loosen it afterwards, when it's definitely much harder to easily turn it. You don't take it all the way out. Yeah, but the bolt on top is 19 millimeters, and you can feel it's quite easy to loosen this by hand on the. This is on, from the toolkit on the bike, and it's still as easy to remove it with that. Okay, now the whole thing is loose. We can now pull the shock out. And there we go. We need to remove the top here. It's a 19 millimeter on top, and then anyway, this is the big magic happening. Inside here we need to pull this. Oh wow, this is soft compared to the aftermarket one. Oh, we have to pull this down. Okay, so what I did, I took a 16 millimeter wrench and I put it below the nut here. This is the lock nut. Pulled the spring down and then squeezed it in. And that actually gave me the lock there I needed to keep the spring from coming back up again while we are taking off this top part. And then there we go. You keep the lock nut in the bottom, hold it tight while you unscrew the top. And screwing, it comes off. That's the top part. And then you have the shim plate, and this is how I hold the spring down. It's just this one below the lock nut. 16 millimeter. So you don't have to have a 3D printed plastic part. That was good to avoid that. Anyway, you're gonna take out the old spring. We are not going to use the same oil, and we are not going to use the same viscosity, or there will not be the same viscosity oil. But that's how you take it apart. Now it's taken completely apart. This is the old spring. You're going to put a new spring in and put it back together again. And basically that's it. You need a 16 millimeter wrench to be below the lock nut, so you can pull the spring down and put this under. Just to show you guys another thing I'm doing on this bike. This is the original top of the fork, and as you see, this is bushing here and there's nothing under here, and that's basically it. So, and this is the clicker, and I bought this one, and now I also have preload on the fork in front. So this is when you do this, if you want to, you can upgrade with this, and then you also have preload adjuster in the front. I like to have it because sometimes I ride hard, and sometimes I ride normal, and sometimes I want a little bit harder springs and softer springs, depending on the ride. Normally on road, if you don't load it heavily or ride too up a lot, or you know, load it heavily and don't load it, you don't really need it. You know, you just set it hopefully for the way you want it, but I like to have it because then I can adjust everything on the fork. And for me, it's one of those things. You can buy these. I bought this from, what is this? Off the Road, yeah, in Germany. Not the cheapest item. So unless you need it, I wouldn't bother. But when you have it apart, if you're thinking about, do I need it, and you want to put it in, do it when you change the springs, because then you don't have to do all this twice. There's a super nice tool I always use. That's this Motion Pro. You can make it by yourself by just having a syringe with a hose, and then you mark off the level and suck after you fill it up. That's basically what it is. So as you remember, I showed you on the calculation, the level on the fork with my weight and the spring is 110 millimeters and not 85 as it is supposed to be in stock. So I adjusted this here now on this. So I will suck off whatever is too much oil afterwards. And the oil I'm going to use is 5W, and I use this one because it's a very good oil. It's fully synthetic and 5W, and now there's air coming out, as you can hear. I think you can hear it because I have my microphone right there. Anyway, I hope you are. And pull it up and down sometimes. Again, to make sure you get all the air out. Now we can look at the level. If I have too much or too little oil. You take the level when everything is compressed, the whole fork. Because if it's all the way up on the Tenere, you have like, I don't remember, it's 210 millimeter travel. And as you all know, oil and water doesn't compress. So if you only have this much air gap, you won't even have that as your suspension travel. Anyway, so we put this on, this super nice tool, pull it back, and yes, it does suck oil, so I have too high level. That's it. Now the level is perfect. Okay. This is the tool I made. It's just 3 10 millimeter nuts glued together with super glue on a, something like this. This one goes on, and we can thread it on here. This is just to pull this up. There we go. So this is the tool I made. It's not very solid. This is the new spring. Way heavier than the other one. I'm gonna leave it, take it down here. So, a Weiss is a good tool, guys. Okay, so I think we can do this easily. Easier than I thought. This is the 16. Oh my goodness! It was tight. Yeah, I got it. Wow. Nice. Now let go of this. So as you see, that was quite easy actually. Easier than I thought. Yeah. Now, put this on. Yeah. And I'm going to all you need is to put this together So it actually, it's not really, no, why? It's supposed to be, there, I locked it. So the lock nut is in. Suspension is actually done. Put this back up and screw it in. There we are. All we need to do now is to reverse what we did earlier and put it back on again. Thank you guys. Then you can actually measure this one, and you want to have it the same. If you put it higher, the bike is going to be easier to turn and be a little bit more nervous. If you put it lower, it's going to be more sluggish to turn. The stock setting, I'm quite happy with it, and I'm going to stay with it. So you just measure this one with a ruler. Okay, fellas, this is one of the things I'm doing when I do this job on the forks. You see now I have installed everything back again. Basically, when you have done one, it's just do the other. The only issue here is you have this ABS sensor, and after you take down the fork, you have to take out one bolt here, and then there's another one like this under there. So you take this off, and then you take the whole assembly off. Pretty easy, actually. Anyway, so this is what I'm going to give free give out for the guys who like, subscribe, and also put a comment in that I want to be in the raffle over these ones. I'm going to give it away for 5 people, and for free. I'll send it to you guys wherever you live in the world. And basically it's here. If you read about it, I think Rally Raid have something on their website. It's nylon bolts just on the lower one here, because if this hooks up and it starts ripping, there's a rubber here, so it's supposed to take some punishment off. But if it's a rock here getting pretty hard in, you can actually destroy the fork from the metal bolt there. So this can be destructed, and this one is the weakest point. So instead of breaking this, which is quite expensive, this plastic here, and instead of breaking the fork, you just put a nylon bolt there. It's a giveaway for 5 guys, double sets, so you have a spare one if they break. When we start with torquing the bike up, we start with the lower clamps on the triple, and this is 20 Newton meters. And now torquing on top for 23. It's 23 Newton meters on top. So we're going to put this here. These are the ones with the zippers. And I like to use these ones because if you look at what happened with these Teneres, I know people who have had them for a while and then ridden them pretty hard off-road and stuff like that. And one of the things that happens with them is this is chrome, and it actually wears off. I'm not saying you're not going to wear it with this, but you don't get the dust in. And when you don't get the dust in, then it won't settle on the forks, and then it won't get trapped in under the sealing and then start rubbing the chrome off. So now the forks are finally done. We have changed oil to Motul 5W fully synthetic. We have put a new spring in, a different level, oil level on it, and we put adjustable caps, and then we also put the nylon bolt to avoid destroying the fork if you get caught with a rock here. And then I put neoprene gaiters on. The clickers, I will show that after, because I will make a video how to set up everything, you know, with the brake pedal, level, gear lever, everything. So it's, you know, final setup before you ride. But if you do want to know exactly how many click I use on a different setting, then and you don't have patience to wait for that video, just let me know and I will send it to you. Yeah, and I hope that helped, and you know, now feel confident of doing this job yourself. It's pretty easy, you know. Like I said, you need a 16mm and an 18mm for those bolts, and a 19mm on, for the top cap on the stock one. If you buy an aftermarket adjustable one, there's usually a wrench that comes with it. But again, you don't have to have this. It's perfectly fine without. Okay, I hope you enjoy. See you on the next one. Take care, bye bye.